Alright friends, I have to confess, since the new Zelda game came out, I have done zero reading this week, so I am totally doing a different kind of video since I have nothing to review. Hello friends, I'm so very excited that you're here. I'm really excited for this video even though my intended purpose was to do a video review of Me and My Beast Boss, which was one of the recommendations I got for my shoujo event. And if you're like, what shoujo event you're talking about, definitely check out here to see all the details because today is the final round of voting. It is the third and final round where you can choose your favorites of the top 8 that have made it to this round, and the top 3 that get the most votes I will be reading and reviewing on my channel this summer. The voting has been totally chaotic. I think none of the titles from the first round that made the top 3 were in the top 3 for round 2. I don't know what to expect for round 3, but I'm really excited, so please go vote. I am very, very pumped to read what you guys would love to see me read and review. Hopefully I can read them and review them next month. Now that I have gushed about that, because I'm just so excited, because I think actually one of the manga titles that's in the top 3 currently is actually on today's list, because maybe you heard the news. Viz Media shocked the whole manga community, coming out saying, hey, we have upgraded our app for $2 a month. You can access thousands and thousands of chapters. I've heard plenty of people gushing about how excited they are about this app, but I'm like, I have not really heard anybody in the manga tube community saying, go check out that shoujo manga that's on the app, because a lot of out-of-print shoujo manga is on this app. So today I want to talk about 10 shoujo manga titles that I am really looking forward to reading. They're on the Viz Media app. And I will just say right now that these are in no certain order. And also I do want to say one other thing. I do deeply apologize if my volume or my sound is a little bit off today. I discovered that my adapter isn't working properly. I bought a new one. It's supposed to be, as of the day I'm filming this video, it should be here, but I'm hoping that my adapter can just last one more time so I can film this video. All right, are you guys ready? I'm so excited for this list. I think one of the titles I had only come across today, actually, and I was like, okay, that has to go up on this list. So again, in no certain order, for number 1, Kimi ni Todoke. I don't actually know if I'm going to reread this manga on the app, but I am so stoked that they put the entire series, all 30 volumes, on this app to encourage and help other people read this shoujo manga. It is one of my favorites. It's one of those manga titles that I have been so guilty of, like, okay, I'm gonna come film a top 5 Wednesday, or I'm gonna take a photo for Instagram or just across my social media, and I use the Kimi ni Todoke volume, and then I just start reading it. And it really doesn't matter what volume it is. It could be the beginning or the end or the middle. Like recently, I think it was like volume 24, 25 that I decided to use in a photo, started reading it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this instead. I love and adore these characters so very much. It has just been one of the best shoujo manga. I feel like it is a classic for a reason. It is a beautiful, beautiful love story. And if you have not read it, please go check it out on the Viz Media app, because it's there. I mean, you're literally able to read 30 volumes of this epicness for $2. I will never get over that, and just so thankful that it's on there. For number 2, if I don't put this on this list, I feel like the shoujo community on Twitter is going to be breathing down my back, and so I have to say this, and that is Basara. I don't know much about this. I do know it's very loved from the people who have read it. They say it's fantastic, and the day that Viz Media announced the news about this app and that people saw Basara was on there, I felt like so many people, an overwhelming amount of people on the Twitter community, were reading this. They were sharing screenshots. They're like, go read it. The reason I'm excited about reading this one is not because I've heard so many glowing things, but my library actually used to have over half the series. I forget how many volumes it is, but it's, I think, in the 20s, and they had half of the volumes, right? And then here recently, it was before the Viz Media app news was released, I was gonna go check it out, and it was gone. There's none of them there. And I was like, okay, did my library decide to get rid of a lot of their out-of-print series? And that doesn't seem to be the case, because I had a bunch of others still, the whole series. I'm like, hopefully nobody stole that series. Like, please don't steal manga from your library. I've seen people encourage this, and let's let's not make it a thing, okay? It's not cool. It's not cool. It just, no. So anyway, rant aside there, I was so deeply thankful to know that the Viz Media app had it, and I definitely felt the pressure, not in a bad way, but I felt the pressure to hurry up, download the app, and start reading that same day. I decided to wait because I knew the shoujo event was coming, and I had already put in my mind I was not going to commit to any big series until I read the shoujo manga, because Skip Beat is currently in the top 8, and if that wins, that's a really long series. It's like 40 something volumes. My brain's already committed to reading that because I think I have volumes 1 through 20 on hold in my library right now, waiting for me to pick it up. Unfortunately, I do not know too much about this story. I believe it's like a dystopian, and I know the covers are absolutely epic, and if I'm sort of remembering right from what I've briefly skim read in the beginning of like the sample online, the main girl is the daughter of a chief, and I think she's supposed to be like the new chiefess, but there's people who don't agree with it, and like these, I'm assuming these bad guys, they come and they raid her village, they like, I think they kill her father and whatnot, and a lot of horrible things happen. Somehow it's leading her on this sort of, I don't want to say grand adventure, but it does give me just a tad bit of Yona vibes in the sense where she's had to leave her home and now she's sort of wandering and she's trying to find a new purpose until she can restore what was taken from her. And I do know that people say that this is the ultimate enemies to lovers kind of story. I have seen a few spoilers involving that. I don't know if my heart is ready, even though I'm like, that looks really, really good. For number 3, I'm so excited. This one is on the app, and that is Love Me, Love Me Not by Sakisaka. Yes, I was late to the hype train, and I'm like, okay, that is the one series I have not read by her that's released in English and already like available. I've been wanting to read Love Me, Love Me Not for such a long time. I've heard such glowing things, mainly about that series and how it's really, really good, and I don't remember what this one's about except that these two girls have two different views on love and which one is quote unquote right, and they think it's sort of discovering that there is no wrong way to view love in the way that they feel like the ultimate love story is different than the other. And I've just been so curious about it because I have loved Sakisaka's work, and I guess you could say that ties into number 4 because Strobe Edge is on there, and I love Strobe Edge. I have 5 volumes that are in a mixed matched order for the series. I have the other volumes on back order, and I'm just like, yes, Strobe Edge was actually what got me into Sakisaka's work. I read Strobe Edge, then I read and bought Haru Ride, and now, like I said, for number 3, I need to read Let Me, Let Me Not. I have been really wanting to reread Strobe Edge for a while now. I do have a review up on this channel. It was such a moving story, completely hooked me on Sakisaka's work. I saw that Haru Ride is also on there, so I'm really excited that we have access as shoujo readers to all of her work because I feel like she is totally worth all of the hype. Highly recommend all of her stories. Prepare for the angst, but it is worth it. I'm like, Sakisaka, I will take the angst because of you, because I don't really like reading angst in my stories. Give me the soft and fluffy, but I can do without the angst. She definitely is a soft and fluffy down, explore some deeper topics. I love her hero so much. So if you're looking for an angsty, beautiful love story, I recommend all of her work, but I definitely am excited to reread Strobe Edge and finally be able to try Let Me, Let Me Not. For number 5, I saw that Beauty Pop is on there, and I just was like, oh my goodness, it brought back memories. I actually had physically owned all of Beauty Pop a few years ago, did a review of it as well, but I had unexpected surgery that needed to be performed, I think 2 years ago, literally right before Thanksgiving. It was that week. Because it was so unexpected, I sold off some of my manga. Like, I had bought almost all of Yona of the Dawn at that time. I sold all of that off, and Beauty Pop, that was a really hard decision. Thankfully, I have Yona of the Dawn back right here, but I never could get Beauty Pop back because the volumes are so expensive, and that one's officially out of print. Like, it even went digital only, and I'm like, oh my goodness, because I know my volume 10 had stickers at the back of the manga, which was the coolest thing. Anyway, I loved that story, and I was just so excited and happy to see it on the Viz Media app, and like, we could pay $2 to read the series if you love America's Next Top Model, but without all of the drama and more of a focus on cutting hair, taking taking care of like facial features, well, talking about facial features and hairstyles that complement your structure, your facial structure, as well as taking care of your skin, and there's some massaging in there and a few other things. I would definitely recommend the series. I wish there was a little bit more of a prevalent love story, because I did feel that the love story was a little bit rushed when it comes to the end, but I really love the beauty aspect of the manga so much. It's a very fun series. Love the characters. The hero's definitely very grumpy. He can be very, very mean, but he does have a soft spot, so I didn't feel like I completely disliked him or anything, and I did like him by the end of the story, or the series, I mean. But I feel like we don't really have a lot of beauty manga. The only one that's jumping to mind is Cinderella Closet, which I highly recommend because it's really, really good. That's the only one that comes to mind, and Beauty Pop was like my introduction, I feel like, to beauty manga in general, and it's such a beautiful and fun story. Maybe more fun than beautiful, but I just really remember having such a great time reading that, and I just felt like that was a total hidden gem included in all these shoujo manga that are now available on the Viz Media app. For number 6, this was one that I was really surprised to see on there, because this is a really newer release, and it's also a Josei title at that. So I guess that's sort of cheating, but we're still gonna like slide it in here because I forgot it was a Josei until just now. But that one is called Mermaid Scales in the Town of Sand. I think on the app physically it's one volume. It's 2 volumes in one, I guess, because on the app they have it as 2 separate volumes. Because I think it's Mermaid Scales and then the Town of Sand. But I have been very curious about this one, especially since I saw Marg and Marguerite's manga had like gushed about this and how much she loved it. In fact, I think she said it was one of her favorite reads of last month. And I was like, whoa. And I know Colleen, that she has also recommended this one as well. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, this wasn't really high on my radar. I don't really know why it wasn't. It wasn't just calling to me, I guess, of the other releases that I was really excited for. I believe it's a coming of age story, and it's about this young girl. She moves town. I don't really know why she moves, but she goes to live with family, and either she has almost a drowning accident or something happens, and she is adamant either way that she saw a mermaid. And so I guess she's trying to sort of discover or uncover this mystery of, are there mermaids in the ocean surrounding this town that she now lives in? I don't know much outside of that. I remember somebody saying that if you're looking for like a cozy, beachy read, this isn't exactly that because of the mystery. I think there's a little bit of sadder elements. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know everyone who has read it so far has like, this is really underrated and people need to go read it. So I was really excited it's on there because I think that the physical volume is about $20, and I think that's why I didn't pick it up, because I wasn't super interested and I didn't want to pay the larger price tag, even though I'm like, you get like 500 pages. So obviously you're getting your money's worth, but now that it's on the app and you can pay $2, you're getting even more of your money's worth. For number 7, Viz Media is seeing us, and I'm very excited because QQ Sweeper and Queen's Quality is on there, but specifically I want to highlight QQ Sweeper because volume 1 is out of stock everywhere, and I think volume 2 of Queen's Quality is out of stock everywhere. Really hoping for a reprint, especially if you want to read Queen's Quality, you need to read QQ Sweeper first and then read Queen's Quality. It's the one same story, but there was like a change. I think the manga creator said there was a change in title, or she changed magazines, but QQ Sweeper is the beginning of Queen's Quality, so you have to read that. And I'm like, thank you for having it on there, because the only way I was able even to read the beginning of this series, like QQ Sweeper in the beginning of Queen's Quality, was because of my library. I mean, I have almost all of the manga now, yep, except for volume 1 of QQ Sweeper and then volume 2 of Queen's Quality. I'm like, yes, now I don't have to worry because something happens with my library, because I've definitely been more on edge about older titles that they have because of them getting rid of or whatever happened to Basara. I've been a lot more on edge about that. And I also heard that Queen's Quality has the, I forget what it's called, but you know, where like they update chapters as they are in Japan. So like when it was published in Japan, say on a Monday, and then say like later that Monday, it will be up in English on the Viz Media app. So that's really cool. So if you're up to date with Queen's Quality, you can do that. I'm not, but I just got the latest volume, volume 17. I've been pretty excited that Queen's Quality has been doing so well in the shoujo voting, because I was unsure of how well I was going to do, but this is a series I really, really enjoyed the beginning and really want to finish reading reading. So that was another pleasant surprise because I feel like QQ Sweeper Queen's Quality is really big on Twitter, but is not that big on Instagram. So if you've been curious about it, you can definitely check it out on the app. And I'm just so excited. I can reread QQ Sweeper just like, yes, thank you. For number 8, I feel a little bit bad, but I am excited about this one, and that is my special one. And the reason I feel bad is because I was originally collecting this physically. I loved Volume 1. It's by the same manga creator of No Longer Heroine. And then I read Volume 2, and Volume 2 really takes a turn from Volume 1. Definitely not a bad volume by any means, but I was expecting that humor, and I did not quite get it. So I decided, okay, I'm going to put a hold on continuing to pick up the physical volumes. I didn't want to drop it, and so when I saw my special one, like the chapters were on here, bro, I was so excited because I'm like, yes, now I don't have to worry about dropping this series and can keep up with it because again, I definitely would like to. It's not a bad series. I think just definitely keep in mind that Volume 2 is not going to be as funny as Volume 1. It definitely made all of the characters more three-dimensional, which is never a bad thing. It was just something I was not prepared for. I was like, this is pretty emotional, so that was really exciting for me to see that. It's another newer release that I was not prepared to see on the app. Same as Rainbow Days. Like, I'm like, that's a new shoujo as well. So it'd be really nice with these newer shoujo titles that Shoujo Beat is dropping if they're on the app too, because I'm like, I am 100% here for that. For number 9, this is another one that I'm super pumped for, and that is Lovecom or Lovely Complex. This series is definitely OOP. I don't think it goes like the prices that people are asking for. Don't go as high as Basara, but I have heard it's a right hefty penny to collect it, and I'm like, yes, it's on the app. I've heard such great things about this. I've seen enamel pins online in the pin community that I'm like, I really want them because they look super cute, but I'm like, I know nothing about them, and it's here. It's right there at a swipe of a screen, and that was just so exciting to me, and I feel like people who have read this series deeply love and enjoy it, and I am ready to experience it for myself. And coming in for my final one, I decided to change it up, and I'm going to say Yume Kira Dream Shop. I thought it was Shoppe because it has 2 P's, but no, apparently it's just shop when I looked up the pronunciation. This is the first time I've ever heard this, and it's sort of funny because originally I was like, oh, I'm really interested in this because it has the letter Y, and that would work out perfectly for the ABCs of Shoujo Manga, that video series that I'm doing on Beneath the Tangles channel, YouTube channel. I'm like, cool. I'm always on the hunt for like those hard to find letters. I started reading about it, and I'm like, this is really interesting because it's about a young girl. I guess her shop is sort of up in the sky, and she hears the wishes and dreams of people that they're dreaming or wishing for something, more or less, but it comes at a price. And I guess she tells them, I was about to say an equal exchange. This is not Full Metal Alchemist, but that there is an exchange that has to happen in order for her to fulfill that dream and that wish. At what extent, I don't know, but that is where I'm really curious about. And I was very hooked from the first few pages that I saw, and I'm like, I need to keep reading. Maybe today I actually will, and not just keep playing Zelda, though I sort of feel after filming this video, I'll probably go back to playing. But I am so excited for the app and how it put this on my radar. And I just want to say too that a huge shout out to Josei News, I think is the name of her Twitter account. And I'm gonna leave a link down below because she actually put a thread together, a Twitter thread of all the shoujo manga that you can read on the app. That is how I was easily able to find what shoujo manga is on there that you can read on there, because they have their whole catalog, like all of Shoujo Beat's catalog on there, but that doesn't mean you can necessarily read. But finding series like Yume Kira Dream Shop was such a joy and such a pleasant surprise. Anytime I could find a shoujo manga that may seem not just underneath the radar, but just more shoujo manga that I'm interested in is always really exciting. And that is why I wanted to film this video, because I wanted to be able to spotlight series that were popular, maybe some hidden gems that people would be interested in checking out for $2. Because even if you're like, well, right now money's tight, I can't pay that $2, you have a 7-day trial for free that you can read as much as you can cram into that 7 days. So I hope that these 10 picks that I have gushed about have maybe made you excited and want to go on the app and go check it out. And again, go check out that Twitter thread to go see what other shoujo manga are on there. Definitely let me know, have you gotten the app yet? What shoujo manga are you planning to read on there or have already read? I would love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to go vote in my shoujo event, because remember, this is the last and final round. Bye!